Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, good evening. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. Good evening, Dark, Arkan, JH, Robert. Have you been away, John? Or is YouTube not sending me notifications? Yeah, I've been away 2 or 3 weekends out of the last 4. I think 3 weekends. Or maybe, yeah, well, I've been away a lot. Family holiday, and then I had to go to a wedding last weekend, so hello, have you thought about painting Blood Angel's armor metallic? I tried it today using a green contrast over lead belcher and it looks really good, but you can also use other contrasts. Sometimes I would paint Blood Angel's red contrast over gold. That can actually be pretty cool. If you've never tried it, try it on one of your Sangre guards, like their axes or something like that. Good evening, Jacob. First time you've managed to get in the stream for a while, and hello, Bowman. Yeah, it's the first time I've streamed for a while. I've got a GT coming up, and I've got an RTT coming up. So, in the interest of getting models complete for those, I need to do some basing tonight. I'm just going to start by putting texture paint on like 5 Sangre guard bases, just so that these last bunch of Sangre guard I bought technically have 3 colours on them. Well, they have 3 colours on them, but they need to have texture paint on them on the bases as well. So that's where I'm starting tonight. Something a bit boring, but it needs done. Any advice how I should paint camo cloaks? Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually painted the camo cloaks on my eliminators because my eliminators are like half painted. But I did some camo cloaks on like my Star Wars models, and I think the best thing you can do for cloaks like that is to like pick 3 colours, like, you know, camouflage pants, how they're like if you know, they would maybe be like navy, black and grey, and they sort of like just mix the colours together. I can show you what I've done, because if you want to see it, it's nothing fancy, but like I used like 3 colours and just like mixed them together and just painted it sort of randomly. Some people go like way to the extreme with camo cloaks. Like some people might even blend them into like some people might use the texture paint on them to blend them into the bases. But when I did it, I just used like 3 colours similar that you would get with like camouflage pants or like army gear, and tried to do something smart around that. Good evening, fellas. How you doing? Let me show you one of these camo cloaks. Oh, I didn't even paint the cloak actually, I just painted the whole guy. So this is like a rebel trooper from Star Wars. He's obviously not finished, but I just picked like 3 colours of blue in this guy. Like I said, like camouflage pants. I guess I've got like a light blue, a darker blue, and like a purple, and just like randomly splodged bits of paint. I guess I've even got a black in there as well, or that's very dark purple. Just randomly splodged bits of paint all over them. I'm sure I did. Do you know what? Maybe I did paint some of my snipers' cloaks. Maybe I painted the bolt rifle ones, but not the las fusel ones. Maybe that's what I did, because I'm sure I remember doing something similar on grey cloaks. And I think the main thing is to just try not to be perfect. Try not to worry about it too much, because I think when I was worrying about it, I didn't really know how I was going to do it. But like once I just started bundling the paint on there, it actually turned out okay. So that's probably how I would advise you work on camo cloaks. I mean, if you want a simple battle ready scheme, because typically if you watch the channel you know that I go for like fairly simple schemes on my painting. But good evening everyone, it's nice to be back. I feel like I haven't streamed in ages. We've been filming a few extra episodes of, like, while I was away, we filmed a few extra episodes for the 3 Grots channel, so we still had content coming out there, so I guess it meant that I haven't streamed as much. So I was really looking forward to this today. I said to my wife, I was like, I'm really looking forward to live streaming tonight because I haven't done it in ages and haven't seen everybody. So, do you have any suggestions for models or anything that can make things better if you're just starting Blood Angels? I mean, at the moment, Blood Angels I feel like, are very much defined by Sangre Guard and Death Company. So if you don't have those guys, that's probably where you want to start, right? Most of the Blood Angels competitive lists we're seeing at the moment are like doubling down on multiple squads of Sangard, usually 3. A lot of the competitive lists have 3, some have 2, but 3 squads of Sangard seems really meta right now, or it seems really popular right now, I guess. I mean, they're a really good, powerful squad, I guess, one of our best. They still suffer a bit from not having an invuln save though, honestly. Into the -4 from Bloody Rose Sisters of Battle this week. I mean, Sangre Guard, and then against the Retributors, can't take cover saves. So saving multi-meltas on 5s is still a big problem for Sangard, I guess. I think Sisters are pretty good counter to Blood Angels. There you go, someone else said get Sangre Guard, they're essential. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't know if they're essential. I think you can probably make a Blood Angels list that could be pretty good with a mix of like Death Company and some Dreadnoughts and maybe like some assault squads or attack bikes. Like, I don't necessarily feel like you have to have Sangard, but like they are very, very, very useful. And like I haven't left home without Sangard for like, well, the entire edition. 9th edition, my lists have always included at least one squad of Sangard. I went through a little while there where I was trying Terminators. This was pre-Armour of Contempt, and I do not dislike Terminators, and arguably Terminators are even better now with armour, with those new charging rules, because Terminators typically come in from Deep Strike, right, for a charge. So I haven't run Terminators much. Well, I haven't run them at all since Nephilim book, but yeah, I don't think they're bad either. But Sangre Guard are the ones that we seem to see a lot of people doubling down on at the moment. Foz says we missed you too, although glad to hear you're taking some time to enjoy summer. Yeah, thanks for that, Foz. Yeah, it was nice to get away for a little while. And my daughter was actually born like 3 months before the pandemic started, so she was born in like November 2019, and then the pandemic started in like, it was pretty much March 2020, I think, right? So it was like she was born like 3 months before the pandemic, maybe 3.5. So like, you know, she'd barely been anywhere ever. Well, she'd never been outside of Scotland or anything like that, and she'd never really been on like a real holiday or anything like that, I guess, because of COVID. So finally managed to do that, so that was really nice. So yeah, I mean, it's been a bit sucky for the channel that I haven't put out as much content as I normally do, but I've got one more weekend away coming up in a few weekends, and then normal service should resume, I guess, till like next summer, I guess. So but yeah, you know, sometimes you need a bit of a break. So and honestly, my daughter, like, we were at a wedding last Saturday night, and my daughter just loved the wedding so much. She kept thinking that the bride was a princess, which was like the cutest thing ever. So we had a great time away. But saying that, I've only had a couple of games against Andrew in I think I've only played like maybe 4 games of Nephilim. So I've got a tournament in like 2 weeks' time, and I'm struggling to find out the best list. There's a lot of things that are really strong in the current meta, like Sisters of Battle, or like, I lost to Sisters of Battle this week if you guys watched the game. I lost by like 30 points, but there was a few big swings in there. I think it could have been a much closer game. I actually think some of my plays were still actually the correct plays, and it was like I actually killed, what was it, like 2 squads of killed 2 squads of Zeraphim and 2 squads of Repentia in turn 1 and still lost, which is just nuts, because, you know, Zeraphim and Repentia are insanely good, so to kill 2 of his 3 squads of both of them in turn 1 and still lose the game, and still lose the game by like 30 points, It felt really harsh. I think I could have maybe scored a little bit better in that game, and I guess I have to deploy even more defensively. I felt like I deployed pretty defensively, but like it's just because he's basically got 24-inch threat range on one squad of Zerfim, or on all the squads of Zerfim. But he's also got crazy threat range on the Repentia, which is like what is it, like move 6, advance 6, and then a 3d6 charge, and you can get +1 to advance and charge. So basically, like, that squad of Repentia can have a 26-inch turn 1 threat, or yeah. So yeah, a little bit annoying to lose to the sisters, but oh well. More people are saying get Sandguard. Good evening, John. Did GW nerf the ignore cover rule for eliminators armed with las fusils? I don't remember eliminators. Could eliminators ignore cover at some point? I don't remember if they ever had ignore cover. They can ignore lookout sir, right, if they have bolt rifles, but I don't remember a ignore cover rule for them. You were unlucky to lose. This point scoring was silly. Yeah, I feel like I felt like I'd lost the game, but I feel like there was probably 20 or something points in there that could have been swung pretty closely. Like, you know, if somebody makes 10 3-up saves in a row, which he did, and if he'd failed a single one, it would have been like a 12-point victory point swing. Like, you just have to hold your hands up and go like, well, how often do your opponents make 10 3-up saves in a row? You know, like it just doesn't happen. So sometimes the dice can go against you. I can't remember the last time I made 10 3-up saves in a row. What? Yeah, that would be nice. Getting 0 and retrieving that Monday. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just the threat range. Really surprised me. I knew he had lots of threat range, but I didn't think he was going to be able to engage on my incursors in turn 1. And then, yeah, that probably, him engaging on the incursors in turn 1 probably hit me twofold, because I lost 2 squads of troops because of those damn Repentia, because they basically they 3d6 charged with +1 to advance. Well, they advanced charged 3d6 with +1 to advance and charge, and then they fought on death. So they killed 2 of my troop units, even though I killed them. Maybe I should have been trying to engage them with something else. This is why I'm not. This is like, someone was in the stream on Wednesday night and said, like, why aren't you picking Blood Angel secondaries? Why aren't you, going harder on that? And it was like, well, I'm not going harder on that because I literally. The last tournament I was at, I lost. If I'd won my final game, I won the tournament. And I lost the final game because I played into a Space Wolf army that had a bunch of fight on death shit. And I basically lost the game because I couldn't trade with any of the fight on death stuff, right? Because it's like, if you don't have like some serious firepower in your list, like Dreadnoughts or something, then the only way you're killing stuff is in melee. And if every time you kill enemies in melee, you have to let them fight on death and like trade with you, then the game is so hard to win, because it's like you almost don't want to be charging your Sangre Garden, because you're like, well, the second I charge him in, he's just gonna fight on death and trade with me, and I'm not gonna get what I need out of this engagement. And that's why I lost the final of the last tournament I was in. Because they had a bunch of Woven, and Woven fight on death for free. Now, Repentia fight on death for 2 CP, but like, you know how ridiculous those Repentia are. They get like about 4 attacks per model. They're strength 6 -4, 2 damage each. And he gets to reroll all his hits, and 6s are bursting, right? Like, he's 100. Like, if he's got the 2 CP, he's 100% paying it for fight on death. It actually makes the 2 CP strat for like a Space Marine character to fight on death seem terrible, because a Space Marine character, when he fights on death, maybe like nicks away a couple of wounds. Repentia, when they fight on death, just kill your whole damn squad. And somebody said to me, was like, oh, you need to try bigger squads of Sangre Guard. I was like, that wouldn't have helped. At one point I had to take like, maybe it was like 25 minus 4 saves on the Sangre Guard, and everyone's a dead model. And could be wrong, but maybe even at one point some of the 6s were bursting into mortal wounds or something. Sisters are a really good counter against us. Fight on death is such a hard thing for Blood Angels to deal with. So this is why I've gone back to run some fire support, because I don't want to get to the top table of another tournament and lose again because I get countered by a fight on death list. And maybe it, you know... Hey Jaeger, it's been a little while. Good evening, thank you for being a member for 10 months, I really do appreciate it. So I can't decide. Sanguinius beat Angron. I mean, Sanguinius beat Angron in what? Sorry. Just in general? Is there a new 40k book that I need to get up on speed with? Yeah, there's like... I don't know, like, me, you know, like... Well, I did the full melee army. I almost won the tournament. I lost it because of stupid fight on death rules. I actually think the Death Company should have fight on death rules. And I actually think they should be fearless as well. No, that's my daughter crying. I'll be back in just one sec, guys. Sorry. Yeah, come on. Yo, sorry guys. Finally, Acrio, good evening. It's been a while since we hang out. Eliminators could be alternative forward deploy units if you need to preserve R&D. Do you know what? I am considering running eliminators. I was considering running them with the Storm Spirit. Not the Storm Spirit, the Storm Speeder. The only issue is I only have one squad of Las Fusel eliminators. So I felt like maybe I needed to get a second squad. I know that Sam does really well in his tournament play with eliminators, and I think he runs 2 squads with Las Fusels. They also don't take up elites spots, so that means you don't have to worry about...
Jaegerbomb2 donated $5 via Super Chat. Echoes of Eternity book that's about to come out. I'm kit bashing bits to create Assault Marines for Horus Horus. RFW resin kits worth getting?
Are the Forge World resin kits worth getting? I have Forge World resin kits, but not like marine kits. Like all my Forge World kits have been tanks or dreadnoughts. Are they worth getting? Yeah, I mean they're good. They're just a little bit more fiddly to work with because you got to use super glue rather than plastic glue. Dildo. Oh my goodness! Dude, I'm tired. Apparently there's a guy in chat called Dildo, and he's got his first tournament in 3 hours. Well, I hope you do well. Wish you'd had a better name than that. Okay. I mean, someone told me I could just proxy the eliminators. You know, the ones with bolt rifles as last fusils, and no one would really care. Armor of Contempt as a band-aid. Yeah, and there's apparently a new balance slate coming pretty soon, right? Anything infiltrate need to be not placed on the ground floor to make charging them harder. I mean, that's probably not a bad idea, but I guess it depends if the ground floor is the only floor that's going to make them obscured. I just dislike that Sister's army. It seems like everything in that Sister's army has really high AP and multiple damage. I don't think Andrew will win the tournament he went to with the Sister's army. I think it's a great army for killing Marines, but I don't think it's an all-round army. Like I think he could beat a lot of Marine players with Sisters, and you can definitely beat like melee-based Marines like Blood Angels that have like, because basically like if I can't kill the Repentia in shooting, then I have to lose a unit every time I want to kill Repentia, and Repentia are like way cheaper than my units. Like, so it's like terrible trades you end up making. The Horus Heresy. Yeah, I mean, like, from my understanding is the new Horus Heresy stuff, like the plastic stuff, is really competitively costed Jaegerbomb. I have like a giant commission going on at the moment for Blood Angels, as well as like a few things on this back burner that I've had for a while. But like, I think once I'm done with all that, I'm gonna get some of the new Horus Heresy kits. But like the plastic kits, I just prefer working with the plastic, honestly. The amount of times I remember I bought a Contemptor Dreadnought from Forge World, like the old resin kit, and I had to use like so much super glue to get it to stick together, like, and I ended up, even after using a ton of super glue, bits would fall apart. I ended up pinning it. I don't know if you're familiar with pinning, but that's when you like drill a hole and like basically put like a metal rod in between some of the parts. So I spent ages on that Forge World Horus Heresy Contemptor kit, and like I'm actually surprised my falchion has never needed that much pinning. It just, I guess it just needed a lot of super glue. But yeah, I want to get an Astreus one day. How I feel about doing it, I mean, like, just making it is those Forge World kits are a bit of a chore. Unless you're really passionate about doing the making and modelling side. Like, I enjoy doing that, but I don't enjoy doing it if it's going to take me like a week just to make the model. You know, like something I can make in 2 or 3 hours is much better for me. You know, I get kids, man. I never get as much time as I want to make models. And then I'm my own worst enemy because I've got this YouTube channel now where I'm making a bunch of videos, right? So I get even less time. So, yeah, Forge World kits for me, if I want to buy one now, I need to buy one like over the Christmas holidays or sometime when I got a couple of weeks off work, so I could give it a good amount of time. One of the guys in our Discord made like a falchion in like 2 evenings or something. I honestly don't know how he did it. I don't think I could make a falchion in 2 evenings, no way. Chop off the snipers and replace the ends with las fusils, easy fix. Huh. Never thought of that. Could you just chop off the ends and like maybe magnetize? Like, because I have leftover las cannons from when I built my aggressors, I wonder if I could do that. It's not a bad idea, Stephen, because I really don't want to have to buy a third squad of eliminators. I don't really like snipers, so I feel like I probably never really going to play the bolt ones, but it's almost like just make them because you've got the models. Thank you so much for the $5 Jagerbomb. I don't know if I said that. You always hang out here, man. I do really appreciate it. You're going to bash Mark 6 kits to create Assault Marines? Well, that'll be cool. Assault Marines have kind of made a little bit of a comeback, right? I haven't run them myself yet, but like we've obviously seen a few people run them at tournaments, and for me it's a real dilemma. Like, you know, if you're going to run the 3 Death Company or the 3 Sangre Guard and then the 3 Assault as well, like obviously it can win games, and it can win games some really well. I just personally, I don't know how you deal with Fight on Death, and it was so frustrating to get to the top of a tournament and lose because I'm gonna get killed by Fight on Death stuff. And I guess that's probably why I lost against Sisters again. I get killed by Fight on Death. So as a Blood Angels player, I guess if you're into Fight on Death stuff, you either just have to suck it up and deal with it, or you have to try some sort of alternative list. And I guess that's why I've been running a Dreadnought or 2 Dreadnoughts the last couple of games, and I think this week I'm going to try 1 Dreadnought, and I'm going to bring back attack bikes because I'm running a Sangre Priest and I haven't run attack bikes since Armor of Contempt. So maybe we'll run some attack bikes with Armor of Contempt, see how they do. I've only got, like I said, a couple more games before this first tournament, and I'd like to do okay. Last tournament I came 3rd, so we'll see. The rumour is 10th will drop for GWQ1. I can't believe that they do 10th, and the reason I think that they won't do 10th is because Ultramarines still don't have a 9th edition codex. White Scars still don't have a 9th edition codex. Stay in chat if another army that doesn't have the 9th edition codex, but like how can they even be thinking about 10th when it's taken them, like 9th came out like 2.5 years ago at this point, right? Because I'm pretty sure Adomitus came out in the summer, like it was like July or something, right? So like it's been 2 years Ultramarine play. Khorne World Eaters still don't have their codex, right? It's coming soon, but it's not out yet, right? Or I missed the release while I've been on holiday? Last time I played Blett, he was using the World Eaters rules from White Dwarf, right? He still didn't have his codex, which seems mad. You know, like it's hard to imagine a new edition when it's taken them 2+ years just to get the codexes out. I'd be really, you know, like I complain a lot that Blood Angels have had their codex very early in the edition, and as such our codex really wasn't that strong, but like I think it would be worse if like I was still using my 8th edition codex. Like that's a long time to be using an old codex, right? Especially for Ultramarines. Like Ultramarines are one of the most popular factions, I thought. Good evening, Daniel. It's been a while. How you doing? Elder with Fight First seem to strong counter Blood Angels too. They certainly do, yeah. That Elder list that Miles ran on the channel had 3 fight lasts. I never got to fight in the entire game with a single squad of Sangre Guard. You could argue that I could have positioned stuff better, which I probably could. I didn't realise he had 3 ways of making me fight last. But yeah, that was a brutal game. So there's a bug in here. Fuck off. It's a daddy long legs. It was a big one too. I'll get it later. If it comes back, I'm gonna have to stop painting and smash it though. But I hate creepy crawlies. How is the weather for everybody? Has everyone got a good summer though? It's still pretty warm here. I went for like a small walk this morning and had come home and have a shower because I was like sweating. Alpha Legion might as well not have a codex. They got screwed. Yeah, I mean that's why it's that's why all these rumors for 10th. I'm struggling to believe them. It's because you know, these armies with no codex yet seems a bit unfair, right? If we're just going to move on an edition and they never got their codex, like that's not going to happen, surely. It seems unlikely 2024 Q1. I mean, it could be late 2023. I'm not saying Yeah, it could be late 2023, but I think there's still a few codexes to come, right? Are you painting sisters because they're suddenly so good, or are you just painting them because you've had them for so long, Daniel? Alright, that's the base paint on those guys. Now we'll do some real painting. Pretty hot in here, so hopefully that'll dry pretty quickly, and maybe I can do the edges of the rims in a little bit. I'm gonna start by just painting a little bit of. I get a couple of Sangre Guard arms here, so maybe I'll just get some Mephiston red. This is a Sangre arm, but it's got like a Death Company thing on it. It's fine. I think they're going to do another Gathering Storm Psychic Awakening book. I mean, there's a lot of rumors, or there's been rumors for a while now, right, about Space Marines 2.0 and what that might mean. So there was all, you know, there was a lot of talk about Space Marines 2.0. But I mean, that talk was at least like 3-4 months ago, and then it sort of dried up, I guess. Finally come up with a painting scheme that's doable in my lifetime. Yeah, I hear that. If I was thinking about that, I was like, I wonder at what point I actually finish my Blood Angels army, because like at some point I will finish it, right? Right up. I'll have everything painted. I think for me it's like 5 years away, honestly. Maybe I should look for another commission painter and try and speed it up a bit. Just sell the pile of shame? No. Not a pile of shame anyway, isn't it? It's a pile of opportunity. And I do, like, I bought everything with the intent of having a big, huge army to pick from, so. Most of my pile of shame is half built though. You know, like it'll be like, well, I've got two land raiders that are both like half built. Well, they're both fully built. They're half painted. That's where my pile of shame is. It's like nothing is sitting on. I'd say, do you know what? Maybe something is sitting on a sprue, but I'd say like 90% of it isn't on sprues. It's just it's built. It's been sprayed. It's been painted, and it some of it might actually be pretty close to being finished. It's just a case of like what I always end up doing is bouncing between things when I need them for tournaments. So like models that are like 90% complete can get abandoned because I have to get something ready for a tournament. Yeah, sell the pile of shame and use the money to commission the other half. I'll get there. I've been working on this project for a long time. In some ways it's good that I decided to make the YouTube channel, Stephen, because it's removed the, like, before I was doing the YouTube channel I had 4 armies. I had both Aldari, Orcs and Imperial Guard, and I just picked one of them randomly to be my main army, which, to be fair, Blood Angels was the one that I had the most models for. I traded like a lot of models for those other armies for more Marines with people. You know, like Brett obviously plays Orcs, and Brett had a bunch of Marines, so I traded with him. I traded with Kev. I gave him all the Eldar I had, and he gave me a bunch of Marines. And then finally I gave Andrew all the Imperial Guard, because while Andrew has all the other armies, he has Imperial Guard as well. So it's given me, yeah, I mean, I'll get finished with this one army at some point, I'm sure. Do I have Thousand Suns? I do have Thousand Suns models. I mean, I guess if I ever finish the Angels, then Thousand Suns will be next on the agenda. And I have a Star Wars Legion army as well, so I'd probably do them before Thousand Suns, because people keep asking me, like lots of people, all the people on the Crackheads that usually play on my channel, like Kev, Brett, and Andrew, they all play Star Wars Legion. And they're always asking me, they're like, you like Star Wars, why aren't you playing Legion? And I was like, because it's not painted. And I'm 5 years away from painting it. It's good that you drill your barrels. It's funny, we had an argument with Tony about barrel drilling, and basically the argument boiled down to, do you paint your is painting the underside of your tanks more or less important than drilling your barrels? Because I don't drill my barrels, but I do paint underneath my tanks. So that was a fun argument. Hey, good evening, Mark. How you doing? Yeah, I think that's where I stand. I would like to have another army for the odd game. But I'm just so far away from it. I mean, I played Black Templars one time. Just Red Templars. I'm still tempted to buy a Knight as well, so I need to stop buying new things and finish what I have, huh? Not using the wet palette. It's a good point. I mean, I've not really opened the wet palette yet, Bino, apart from the... I opened it to do a video of unboxing it when I bought it. This is only the second time I've painted. This might actually be the first time I've painted since I got it, actually. Yeah, we'll make sure that we get to it soonish. I was just excited that I was going to be able to stream tonight because I haven't streamed in ages. So that was my priority. I completely actually blanked on the fact that I had the wet palette now. I quite fancy, I mean, I like Custodes, but here's my thought would be, like, if you were doing a Custodes army, wouldn't that feel very, very similar to painting Blood Angels? I suppose it depends on how many of your Blood Angels you paint gold. Like, I don't just paint Sanguinary Guard gold, you know, I painted Vanguard Veterans gold, I painted Blade Guard Veterans gold, and kind of had fun with that when I just wanted a change from always painting red. It seems like quite a few people that do Blood Angels also do Raven Guard. Is there some sort of crossover there that makes sense, or do people just like the way the army plays? Custodes are like 15 models and you have an army. I mean, even less if you do Dreadnoughts, right? You could probably do a Custodes army with like Dreadnoughts and bikes. Yeah, maybe it would be 15 models. Sanguineous wings, Corax wings. Okay, alright, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Are the Raven Guards in any of the Siege of Terra books? No. Okay. I really need to get back into the Siege of Terra book. I found the first one, like Solar War, just so difficult. I think that because there's a lot of like chaos stuff in there. I never read the Mephiston trilogy, so I've been listening to that over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, but I do all my book reading pretty much through Audible these days, so. So, I noticed as well, like, there's been a lot of rumors about, like, a reborn Sanguinius. I haven't done a video on it, because, like, I did a video on some other rumors that came up, like, a month ago, and, like, it almost instantly turned out to be false, or... I mean, maybe it's not false, and maybe it's still coming, but, like... There was a post on Reddit that was like, these are the rumors for new Blood Angel stuff, and then it was like, right, actually the rumors have changed, and then since then there's been like... There's been rumors about like a rebirth Sanguinor, but like... I don't know, I mean... Again, for me right now it just comes down to the fact that there's too many armies that just have... They don't even have anything yet in this edition, so like... Would we get like a rebirthed Sanguinor before like the Blood Angel, sorry, the Ultramarines even get their codex? Like I just kind of don't believe we would. I mean, where do these rumors even come from? Is it someone just making stuff up and posting it to like Bell of Lost Souls? I have not listened to the Three Grots Blood Angels video yet, but well, not all of it actually. I have listened to some of it, but if you guys want to hear an episode that was done by Mark and Tony on the lore of the Blood Angels, it came out like last week on the Three Grots channel. The Sanguinor is meant to be in a Primarch level with tons of Shurubs. Why Shurubs? I mean, I like the fact that a bunch of factions have like some sort of like big center character, like obviously beyond the scope of like a Space Marine. And I think after playing Dante again this week, I think I'm going to drop him. You know, if people are running Blood Angels competitively with Dante in their lists, more power to them. Maybe they're just better at playing Blood Angels than I am. I don't seem to get value out of Dante. I don't think he's strong enough for what you pay, like 165 points. Like, you have to hide him out for 2 turns, and then the second he gets in combat, he just dies right away. Four up save and toughness 4 really isn't that survivable anymore in 40k, it feels like. No, thanks John for supporting us over on Grots, we do really appreciate it. Yeah, Dante doesn't match my playstyle. That's probably fair to say, yeah. What is the playstyle for Dante? Just have him jump around with your Sanguinary Guard and try and heroically intervene? Angel Sacrifice? Like, I don't really get how people make great use of him, because, you know, like, when I was trying to play Dante, maybe it's a thing about Sisters, when I was trying to play him at the start of the edition and make him work, I was always playing into Sisters of Battle, and I was always playing into big squads of, like, what was it, like 9 Retributors with 4 multi-meltas and a couple of Cherubs. And it was worse at the beginning of the edition, because at the beginning of the edition they could use both the Cherubs in a single turn. Now they can only do that across 2 turns. But when you've got a big squad like that can just pump, like, and arguably people that are running that are running multiple squads of it. So when you've got like 12 multi-meltas that are -4 and you can't take cover saves, Sanguinary Guard evaporate pretty quickly, and then Dante evaporates pretty quickly once there's not 3 of them left to protect him from being shot at, right? The rumour was Sanguine or Avatar of Sanguinius, on the kind of scale of Gulliman, Morgan Val. I'd expect as a troll wishlist fulfillment, bit of stirring sadly. Yeah, that's why I haven't done a video on it, Mark. I'd love for it to be true. I'd love for Blood Angels to get some sort of strong character that's like Primarch level. I mean, that's kind of my dream, I think. But I mean, if that happens, sure, I'll do a video on it as soon as humanly possible. But if it's just a rumor, maybe I'll just let the rumor, unless there's a really solid looking rumor with like some screenshots or something. Or you know how sometimes, like, you know, when Angron got released, there was like a leak on the Games Workshop web store, or a news post or something, where you could kind of see Angron. He was all blurred out, or the picture was really low quality, but you could kind of see him in the background. Like, I'll do one if we get that sort of leak, I guess. But yeah, I would love some sort of Avatar of Sanguinius to appear that is just really much more powerful than what we have now in turn. I mean, he'd be much more points as well. Gotta love those anonymous sources on Reddit. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they're accurate. It's actually, I mean, it's pretty surprising how often they are accurate for 40k. I'd say like it's at least a 50% of the time the anonymous sources seem to know what's coming, or be really pretty close. Like, it does seem to happen quite a bit with 40k stuff. Hey Robert, thank you so much. I thought you remember before. Maybe it's a new, maybe it's a re-up of a old membership. Robert, I do really appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, you guys have been hanging out with me for so long now. At this point, it's hard. I mean, we don't really, you know, if you, especially in this financial climate, if you're not a member, if you are a member, it doesn't really matter. It just is super appreciated for everybody that helps out. The UK has gone batshit crazy over the last few weeks. It's crazy. But yeah, 17th of September, I believe, is my next event. And it's just it's a 1-day RTT that I've got, and then in November there's a 2-day GT. So I'd probably like to use the RTT to sort of like figure out my list for the GT, but I think by the time the GT gets here, we'll have had a new balance slate. Because I was complaining a little bit about the strength of sisters the other night, and Mark was saying like, hey, you know, that there'll be a balance slate soon. I wonder if it will affect sisters. I don't think sisters are brilliant. I just think they're very, very good into Marines. So maybe sisters are just like a hard counter into Marines currently. Could we just get Sanguinius, even if it doesn't really make sense lore-wise? I mean, the lore for me, I mean, we've got Tycho, who's been dead for a long time. So I mean, I don't see why we couldn't just get Sanguinius in the book. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you wanted to play a narrative game, you couldn't use Sanguinius because he's dead. But the Avatar of Sanguinius idea sounds like a little bit more plausible, maybe, because I don't think Games Workshop want to break the lore, because they do. I mean, the lore is a big part of their product, I guess. So I don't think Games Workshop want to break the lore. So an Avatar of Sanguinius sounds like it could be a win-win for everybody. I mean, I guess we just have to keep our fingers crossed. I can't see why they wouldn't do it, or at least give us some sort of other similar strength character, because like if all the other chapters get one, we just don't get one because someone wrote like a story 20 years ago that he's dead. I mean, there's such a thing as retcons as well, I suppose. And also, you know, when Firstborn Marines went through the Rubicon, like the rate of survival was supposed to be really low, and now it's like anyone and everybody can just go through the Rubicon. So things change. Who knows? Never say never. Black Angels and Black Angels, Black Templars and Blood Angels for life. Thanks, Robert. I think it kind of undermines the whole point of Blood Angels to get back. The whole death cult sacrifice walking through doom thing. If he does come back, it changes Blood Angels. How come you're in a board game live Twitch section and not Warhammer now? I don't suppose it's a stupid question. I don't particularly know. I have a new PC that I haven't been using too much, I guess. So maybe the defaults for the new PC have me in the wrong section on Twitch. I'll check that. Wit Tank, thanks for pointing that out. Twitch is very much an afterthought for me. I'm primarily do all my content on YouTube. I was trying to build together a new list after like my defeat this week, and I was thinking I'm dropping Dante. I think I'm bringing back Mephiston for the Librarian Dreadnought. The Librarian Dreadnought's weapon skill, just I've said a few times, like I feel like his weapon skill is his biggest weakness because it's not reliable. And then it's like when you really expect it to kill something, he just doesn't kill it. Like the Librarian Dreadnought charged like a rhino, you know, and he's got like 7 3-damage attacks. You think, surely, and you know, he's -3 or whatever, you think to yourself, like, nothing else will need to charge the rhino, that'll definitely kill the rhino. and he did 3 wounds to the rhino, and I'm like, oh my god. His weapon sculpt 3 just kind of makes him, you know, well, I mean, in that game, I guess, weapon sculpt 3, 7 attacks, I think I wounded like twice, and then Andrew made 10 3-up saves. So yeah, maybe it was just bad luck, but there's a few times now I've had the Librarian Dreadnought. That's why I stopped using him before, was because, like, I just felt like he really has a potential of being quite unreliable. I think, have you heard the Battlescribe drama? That the guy didn't pay for his Apple developer certificate or something and it got removed from the App Store for a minute? That's what I've heard. Is that true? I mean, I in my day job, I work for a company that uses that develops apps on the App Store, and that is a thing. Like, you have to pay Apple for like your forget exactly what it's called. Maybe it's like a developer certificate. It's not much. It's like $20 for 2 years or something, but you have to pay it. I guess it just weeds out people that are developing crap or developing so yeah, I could totally understand. Hey Jimmy, good evening. Highland Phoenix, how you doing, brother? It's been far too long since I streamed on a Saturday night. Hope you're well. I think we need the chapter master back. Dante just keeps letting me down. I really wanted to make Dante work as well with the CP changes. You know, I ran him once because Mike really wanted me to run him and see how I feel about him, and I felt like the CP changes were nice to Dante. Like, I don't dislike him anymore. I definitely disliked him before when it was like... Because I thought Heroic Bearing overall was like a low value warlord trait. So I like him a lot more, but I'm still not... He dies pretty much any time he gets countered on. And it feels like when you use the Captain on the Bike always gets countered on. And like, quite often he lives. Does he actually make any money off Battlescribe? I mean, I don't pay for it. What do you get if you pay for it? Highland Phoenix was having Blood Angels Commander withdrawal streams. I was having withdrawal not getting to stream. Before you came on the stream, I was saying, like, it's the first summer holiday we've had since probably like COVID started like 2 and a bit years ago. My daughter has never been away, so we visited England, and we visited England twice actually. Drove like 400 miles on 2 separate weekends. So it was good. It was good to get away for a few days and you know, seeing life was normal back. And I guess just before we went away, I had COVID and stuff. So did I miss a stream or 2 because I had COVID? I definitely missed like an army show, maybe even 2 army list shows. Or sorry, I definitely missed a live battle because I said to Andrew, I was like, you know, I had COVID like 7 days ago, do you want to play? And he was like, nope, I've already arranged a game for Wednesday night instead of you. And I was like, oh, okay. So I missed a couple of streams because of COVID, and then I was away for a couple of weeks. I'm away one more time in the beginning of next month, just for 1 weekend, and then things should be back to normal for a bit. Supposedly makes £120,000 a year from ads on Battlescribe. Bloody hell. If it makes that much money, I'm really surprised somebody else has not just come along and made their own app then. Like, if that's the amount of money... Because that's an insane amount of money. And all he had to do was like pay £20 for an Apple development fee. Jeez. I suppose Battlescribe has ads at the bottom. I always thought those ads were for like, you know, stuff like Element Games or something like that. I didn't think they would pay nearly anything like that amount of money, but I guess if everybody in the world's using Battlescribe, it probably has like 100,000 users or something, right? I think that would be an exaggeration, that amount of money, but who knows. The team's about to release their own product and leave Battlescribe behind. Yeah, well, I'd be surprised if there was that much money on the table. They should have done that a long time ago. Some people hate Battlescribe as well, apparently, because of the formatting of the lists. I've never had a huge problem with it. But, like, I saw a few posts on Twitter when, like, you know, when Battlescribe was basically, like, when it disappeared off the App Store, where I was like, oh, people really hate the formatting of the lists that much to get upset about? I've always thought it was okay. Apparently not. Some people hate it. Miguel's going to start painting some of his models in Candy Coat. What the hell is Candy Coat? Steven's painting his third squad of incursors, copied the yellow helmets that I did. Nice. I think yellow helmets and incursors make sense, right? I also really like the black helmets that I did on my infiltrators. I copied them actually from Colin. And Colin's selling all his ultramarines. So if you want to get some cheap ultramarines, he's putting them all on eBay. They're all painted as well, so. But he did black helmets on his infiltrators, on his ultramarines. I thought they looked dope. That's why I did them on mine. Candy Coat is the high gloss paints that some sports cars use. Okay. I mean, I guess if you want you guys to look like they're a sports car, then that sounds like a good idea, right? You're gonna put some contrast over it? He did say to me, he was like, John, you sure you don't want to buy any of these ultramarines? Could easily reconvert them, but I was like, dude, I get so much stuff in my backlog still. I don't know if I can't justify it. I mean, I can't even justify buying the Horus Heresy, the new Horus Heresy like starter set with all the guys in it, and I want that a lot more because I don't own any Relic Terminators. And I've wanted Relic Terminators now for a while. So I feel like if I'm going to buy something, it's going to be that to get the Relic Terminators. You're a software developer and you like Warhammer, why don't you? I used to be a software developer like maybe 5-6 years ago. I barely write any code anymore. Ginger. Like yeah, I just don't write any programming code anymore. Like I'd moved more into management. I've been a manager since like 2010. Like as our company has grown bigger, like I would just do less and less software code. So yeah, I mean I could, if I wanted to apply myself and do it in the evenings, I could do it, but it would mean I wouldn't have time to do anything on the channel. So I typically don't. Most of my evenings are spent working on this channel. The only night I take off typically is Friday night. Every other night I'm usually doing something for the YouTube channel. So yeah, but I mean, YouTube channel I enjoy. Writing code all day like I used to do at work, probably don't enjoy that much. B. Henry says they sell the relic terminators separate now. Yeah, and a really good price as well for those relic terminators. I want the whole box. Like, I actually like, if I was buying it right now, I'd probably just buy a Kratos and the relic terminators, but I might just wait and eventually get the whole box. I mean, I'll probably get the whole box. It's probably going to be like next year at this point. The big boxes boss value. The big boxes are always good value though, aren't they? I mean, that's why like when Indomitus came out it was sold out like crazy, because everybody wanted like multiple copies of Indomitus. I know people that got Indomitus that don't even play like Space Marines and Necrons just to try and do like mad conversions and stuff. But that's cool if there's like a new version of Battlescribe coming out. I never thought the one that was on the Warhammer app was all that good. So I guess we'll find out what the new one's like. I guess not that many people move to the official one either, because you know, when we look at the lists that are submitted for the Army List show, a lot more lists get submitted from Battlescribe than they did from like the GW app, I guess. Which box was Custodes versus Gene Stealers? What was it called? I gotta pick and choose my battles. Yeah, it's funny how the fan-made projects are the best option. I mean, why is that the fan-made projects are the best option? The fans are more passionate, or Games Workshop's priority just isn't that, or Because, you know, like, Wapedia is used all the time. I use Wapedia, like, religiously. It's just so handy having all the rules on a website. And if that was an official website that was a bit cheaper, then I'm sure it would get a lot of people. How does Wapedia make money, or they just don't? They just do it for love of the game or something? I noticed that there was like a deal on at the moment. Like, if you sign up to Warhammer Plus before the 31st, you'll get this year's exclusive model and a £10 gift voucher. What do people think of this year's exclusive model? Do you like it? Are you subscribing? Do you think that you've enjoyed enough content in Warhammer Plus to get it for another year? To be honest with you guys, I used it a lot less than I expected to. I expected to use it a lot more. The Russian government is probably using all their GPUs for mining. Yeah, maybe, Highland. I don't know why they haven't replaced the crappy army builder. I really don't know why. I used it once and probably pretty much decided to never use it again. Wapedia got kicked off Patreon? Okay, never even knew they were on Patreon, but I mean, I guess Games Workshop probably just complained to Patreon and they had to remove it, huh? Jacob watched all of Angel's Death and cancelled. I watched a couple of battle reports, but I think my problem with the battle reports were they weren't competitive enough for me. Like, the Blood Angels army list, or the army list in the Blood Angels battle report that I watched, it wasn't that the battle report wasn't competitive, I guess, like, just the army that was being played, just like one look at the list and I was like, well, that isn't a good Blood Angels list. So if it's not a good Blood Angels list, or it's not a competitive Blood Angels list, I guess I felt like the battle report instantly had less value, because if I'm going to watch a battle report, I want to learn stuff, and I want to know, like, the strength of units, not just have, like, some random units, because it was like the entire Blood Angels list that I watched was Primaris except one squad of Sangre Guard, and I was like, yeah, I don't think you can really make a competitive Blood Angels list with only one squad of Sangre Guard and then the rest Primaris stuff. So it just felt like the battle report was maybe to sell me Primaris models, which, I mean, I'm buying anyway, and that's not what I want in the battle report, I guess. Fan projects normally have a wider base of people working on it. Will we see a list Bayou mixed with Guilliman? I mean, when I bought this Storm Speeder, I don't know if you guys were watching the stream, I think it was 2 weekends ago, where I was working on this thing. I was in GW shop and I was like, I'm either going to buy the Storm Speeder, a Gladiator Reaper, because we've had a lot of debates about the Gladiator Reaper, like is it viable, is it useful, and I think over the next 6 months we might see the Gladiator Reaper finally become competitive, because they've dropped the points costs on them 3 times now. I still don't think they're competitive, but if they've dropped the points on them 3 times, maybe 1 more points drop and they'll be borderline competitive. So I was either going to buy a Storm Speeder, a Reaper, or Guilliman. And I really wanted to convert Guilliman into Blood Angels, but I think he'd be, if there's rumour of a avatar of Sanguinius, then I guess I can wait on that. I've got the Storm Speeder to do. Maybe I'll finally buy the Gladiator Reaper just so I've got one. It's an option and it's kind of like the spiritual successor to the Battle Predator. Then after that, if the Sanguinar model still isn't out, then we'll look at Guilliman for a conversion then, maybe. Evening, Mikey. Good evening. How you doing? It has been a while. Hope you're well. My streaming has been all 6s and 7s because it's the summer, and I had to go to a couple. Well, I had to go to a wedding, but then we also went on holiday for a week. The Reaper forces the opponents to roll 1s. I mean, the Reaper, it's weird, you know. It's like the Reaper got better with Armor of Contempt, but in some ways it also got worse with Armor of Contempt because all its weapons are -1, right? So like all its shots now are essentially 0 AP into Armor of Contempt. So its survivability got buffed, but actually its damage kind of went down, I guess, into Armor of Contempt. So yeah, the Reaper's in a weird state for me. I don't hate it, but like I just can't get excited enough to just like need to rush out and buy one. So it's going to be more like I'll buy one eventually, I'll use it in my list eventually. Thinking about Guilliman and a Reaper, I'd actually rather get an Astreus first. I think an Astreus would be pretty useful. It's a cool tool to have as well. Jim says probably the next purchase is the Reaper, much DACA. Yeah, it's just annoying that all the DACA on it's AP1, right? Not all opponents' Armor of Contempt. That's true. That's true. In turn 1 it's -2 of course with Devastator Doctrine. Yeah, Doctrines are so inflexible, I feel like, that it's hard to factor them in. I mean, like, yeah, with BA, once you get to turn 3, then, you know, you're in Assault Doctrine, which isn't where you need to be, and you can go a little bit more aggressive, but like, the way I kind of see it is like, you know, your Sanguinary Guards bolters, in turn 2 they're -2, but I feel like you very rarely get much value out of them. I think the same is with the heavy. You know, like when you're actually in heavy in turn 1, when you're shooting like your plasma cannons on Redemptors or something, you're already at -4 or something, so you don't see much value out of it. What you'd really want is like heavy in turn 2 or 3 when you're shooting the onslaught cannon at closer range, but you don't have it. So Dark Ginger says the Reaper in terms of AOC is pointless, which is basically, I'm not saying it's pointless, but I'm just saying it's what made up in, I guess, extra survivability, it probably just gave up in damage, right? Because of Armor of Contempt, so it's a tricky one. Yeah, I mean, I don't rate chainswords now at all in terms of damage. Even if you think chainswords are like -2 once you get to turn 3, I still, or like, you know, you put Death Company into Assault Doctrine in turn 1 and you get those -2 chainswords. I mean, against Armor of Contempt, they're just -1. Yes, not everything is Armor of Contempt, but like, I think it's important to just think about it when you're making a list, because like, if you don't do any damage into Armor of Contempt units, then you've got a real problem. In general, I guess. Right? Get a Kratos. Why is the Kratos sick? Because I did a video on the Kratos a few weeks back. It seemed fine, it didn't seem sick, quote unquote. Why is it sick, John? Hey Jack Gallagher, brand new member coming in as a company champion. I really do appreciate that, Jack. Thank you so much. If you're brand new, then you maybe don't know, but we do have a Discord room or a channel, which you can find in the video description, and by becoming a member, you get access to our members only room. So please make sure you find your way in there, because that way, like, it's quite a big community of like dedicated people that speak in there. Like every day we chat about everything from army lists to tactics to just general goings on. So yeah, make your way in there. Jack, thank you so much for becoming a member. I do appreciate it. Is the Gladiator Reaper really putting out that much more firepower than a Contemptor? You know, like, because you can't re-roll the ones on the Reaper. You're always missing on ones, so you need a Tech Marine. And I think that's possibly what's good about the relic Contemptors, and that you don't need to be running a Tech Marine to still get like very reliable shooting. Greetings, new brother of Sanguinius that started getting obsessed and wanted to learn more about Blood Angels. I've been watching your videos and subscribed because you've been more helpful than anyone. Long live BAC, keep it KG. Thank you, Jack, that's very kind. Yeah, please make sure you find your way into Discord then, into our members room. And then that way, if you've got any questions, we can do our best to help you out. But welcome to the chapter, welcome to the channel. It honestly is super appreciated. Thanks again. That's pretty much what we do, though, is we just try and every week do something that will help out Blood Angels players. This edition has been challenging. It's been ups and downs for us. I did read, someone was asking me in the I think it was you, Steve. You were in here a little bit earlier. Hopefully you're still here. Stephen S was asking me if I could reach out to Chris, because Chris Chance got like 30th place in like a super major with like 300 players, and he was running that squad of 5 Centurions that we've been seeing a few Blood Angels players talk about or run. And every time people talk to me about Centurions, because I ran them ages ago, and I thought they were really slow and kind of unwieldy in a way. So I've managed to, I think next week I've got an interview with Chris, so I don't know exactly when any video will come from that or be on the channel, but I've got an interview with Chris to talk about, well, one of the main things I'm going to ask him is, like, we're going to go over Centurions and, like, well, I guess I'll ask him as well what you would change, because he didn't quite win the tournament. He did well, but he didn't win. So maybe I'll ask him and see if we can get some insight on what problems he foresees. Like, is he having the same problem with Fight on Death that I am? And if so, is he dealing with it differently or what? The Kratos kit isn't crazy expensive. Oh shit, there's been loads of chat, hold on. I can think of loads of ways to make the opponents take tons of saves. A Gladiator really isn't standout. I fielded the Reaper twice with a Tech Marine to hit on 2s and did some damage turn 1, but beyond that I didn't do too much. Evening Steve West, how you doing? Just finished 25 Sanguinary Guard and 10 Death Company with Power Swords. The Kratos kit isn't expensive, it's nice how low slung it is. You can't obscure the Kratos, you know that, right, John? Because it's 18 wounds, it can never be obscured regardless of if it's behind obscuring terrain. And, that's the thing that put me off the Kratos. 18 wounds is the threshold for no obscuring. I mean, it does have toughness 8 and 2-up save, right? So it's not too bad. AOC ruined a lot of units' weapons. AOC, I guess, being sort of like a strange stopgap. I don't know if I would say it ruined loads of weapons, but in a weird way, it kind of just changed some things that were great to be not great and stuff. It's hard to explain exactly, but yeah, I know what you mean by saying, like, AOC ruined weapons. Just something that we have to be aware of now, that, like, when you're building a list, I think you have to think pretty hard about, like, hey, can I do damage into AOC enemies? Because they do exist, and if you do run into them, you can have big problems. Chris is a cool Blood Angels dude. Yeah, I've spoke to Chris before, Stephen, so it'll be good to get him back on the channel. Hopefully, people really liked the last time I interviewed some of the top Blood Angels players, so hopefully I can do a good job again, and it'll help people build lists and stuff, you know. It actually made me feel... one of the times I did like an interview and it had like way more views on YouTube than all the other videos that I did, and while that was great, it also like made me think, like, crap, do people actually want to watch me, or do they just want to watch me interview the other people? So but I'm sure it'll be fine. I do want to know what he thinks on Centurions, though, because, well, I have 3 Centurions. I just don't know if I can get excited about running them, honestly. Maybe there's just too many things that I play against that counter the Centurions. Maybe that's all it is. Uh, 18 wounds kills it. Yeah, 18 wounds means it can't be obscured. The Volkites are great. I'd rather take a squad of Sternguard over the Reaper. Interesting comparison. The Reaper is best for Dark Angels. It can pop smoke. Yeah, I mean, I guess it can pop smoke. It's hard to find 200 points for a unit when you feel like you must take 3 squads of Sangry Guard and 1 squad of Death Company. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing that probably pigeonholes most Blood Angels players, right? Feeling that we have to take 3 squads of Sangard and squad of Death Company. I mean, it's good, that's why we all take it, right? The most dominant army is with AOC as sisters. Why do you think that is, Rezio? I think that one of the reasons that sisters are super dominant is AOC. Well, I mean, partly is that their secondaries seem like really, really easy for them to score. It's just like, use Miracle Dice, hold 1 objective, score 30 points. I mean, but I mean, the sisters are strong anyway, like in terms of like survivability and trading power and killing power, right? Hey, Michael, away. Just asking. No, it's fine. I thought I heard him. Centurions are ace. 6 with drills and metal guns. With an apothecary, one of my favorites. See, if I was gonna run, when I ran Centurions, I ran them with flamers because I didn't feel like you necessarily needed the melta guns because, like, the drills are gonna just cut through any vehicles, right, or any tough armor. So don't you want the flamers so that the enemy can't charge you? Annie's in my room, yeah, she woke up. She's fine though. Christian says, we're watching your match, Andrew v. John, you really need something to take them out of range. Yeah, I mean, against... The problem with the sisters is, like, they've got so much threat range, right? Like, that's what I was saying, like, the Seraphim have 24-inch threat range. Those Repentia have, like, even longer. They can have, like, 26-inch threat range. And they can start obscured, so, like, you can't take them out of range because you can't shoot them. I actually think the Volcon is actually quite good into sisters. Because every mortal wound that you roll is essentially a dead sister, and you get, like, what, 45-inch range on those Volkites. So, like, Volkite weaponry into sisters is actually really good. The problem is, like, if you double down on Volkite weaponry into sisters, then you leave yourself open to other things, I guess. It comes back to the whole thing where, like, you just can't build a perfect army list to fight every army, right? You gotta try and build a balanced list if you're gonna go to a tournament that can take on everything. The sisters is mostly the secondaries. At least half of how strong they are. Yeah, I mean, their secondaries are amazing. They can trade really, really well as well. Sternguard and drop pods. Okay. It's 4 Centurions with Sanguinary Priest and Librarian rushing towards Tyrannids. They did quite well, but with the Melters, Flamers underperform. Do you know what? I haven't run the Flamers actually since Armor of Contempt, and I guess Flamers were probably really good before Armor of Contempt, and now you're probably right. Now they probably underperform, which is probably why I struggle to see the value in the Centurions. God, every time I make a squad of guys and pick like the weapon option that I think is best, i.e. like Flamers on Centurions or Bolters on Aggressors, every time I pick the option that's best, it feels like what actually happens is that weapon option gets made crapper and then I've picked the wrong option. Which brings you back to the age-old thing where, like, what is the best thing to do? Magnets. Why don't I always do magnets? Because I'm an idiot. Sisters have no weaknesses. They probably have some. Like, I think Tau might be really good against Sisters of Battle, right? Flamers are pants. I mean, they were better, but I guess now in Armor of Contempt they're probably rubbish. Salt Marines might be good against Sisters. I mean, anything. I mean, they're not going to be bad, I guess. You could trade a bit because Chainswords will kill points. In Discord earlier today I was saying I'm probably going to go back to... I'm going to probably give my attack bikes a run out. I haven't run my attack bikes since Armor of Contempt came out. And I am running a Sanguinary Priest now. So I'm either going to run... I don't run anything else that's fast attack at the moment. So I'm either going to run them as one squad of 3 or a squad of... 2 and a 1. But I'm probably going to have 3 multi-metal attack bikes in the list. I think that's what I'm thinking. Tau hate AOC and can't stop Sisters scoring. Even those even battle suits. I thought battle suits, not battle suits, sorry, crisis suits. I thought crisis suits would just be able to be like pretty wrecking into Sisters. Drop pods are a liability in tournament list. Why? What makes them a liability? Just because you need to try and find a place to get them down? Trade the assault squad to, you know what, someone said to me bolt rifle intercessors would be good into Sisters as well, but I don't know if I buy that. Again, like, is it enough weight of fire? Because they're ignoring 1 AP. So your bolt rifles are just hitting, you know, they're just saving on 3s. Apparently you can roll 3-up saves for days as well. Like, are they that? Is it that useful? Is it really? I mean, you're allowed to suggest non-competitive things. We don't always have to talk about competitive stuff in here. But I mean, even if we're talking non-competitive stuff, I still want to win the game. Sternguard have 30-inch special bolt guns. Do you know what? We don't really see any Sternguard, even with their 30-inch special bolt guns, I guess. Highland Phoenix, like, I'd... What's their special bolt gun again? It's just like rapid fire, but it's 2 damage, right? Strength 4 -1, something like that. What buffs can I give Centurions? Says Steve West. Quake bolts, I believe, is the only buff they can benefit from. Because they're not core, and I think just about every other buff needs core. I think Quake bolts is the only one that you can get benefit your Centurions. 90% sure. Oh, it's 2 AP, 1 damage. AP3 bolters and tactical doctrine. Then it, yeah. I just don't know if it's enough value, is it? Strength 4, yeah. I mean, at that point, would you not just be better maybe taking, like, Inceptors with the Hurricane Bolters? Would they not just get, like, a lot more shots? And while you are 1 less AP, you're 1 more strength, so it would probably be kind of balanced out, right? Like, you'd wound them maybe 1 dice easier, but they'd save 1 dice better, so it would just be kind of the same thing. And the Inceptors with those bolters get, like, what is it, 6 shots per model? They can play Descent of the Angels and stuff like that. I was looking at my list thinking, like, maybe I need to think about getting some Inceptors back in here. Because I used to run them quite a bit. I've been to a tournament before where I ran Bolter Inceptors. I mean, they're a simple squad to use. One thing about them is they can also perform actions when they shoot, which can be pretty useful, I guess. Good for a few points here or there. Still think Plasma Inceptors are very, very expensive though. But you want the fast attack slot for the assault squad. I mean, Inceptors are fast attack too. Inceptors can action and shoot, yeah. Forget the name of it, but it's in the Space Marine Codex. There's a, I think it's a 2 CP strat that's just like you can do an action and shoot, but it might require like a Primaris keyword, but Inceptors definitely have it. I forget what it's called. It's been an age since I used it, but it's definitely there. The reason I used to use it a lot more when when you could do Nakman data with like a 2-man or a 3-man unit and it was 100% reliable, right? It changed to Nakman like that, I guess. I guess it just changed the reliability, which in some ways meant that you just didn't take it as much. Or you didn't use it as much, I guess. Oh jeez. I was thinking I'm getting tired. What's the time? It's 1:45. Okay. Then in that case I'm here for about 10 more minutes. But we're going to have the Army List show tomorrow night, so that'll be back. It's not been on for a couple of weeks, I guess. And one of the weeks recently was pre-recorded because, like I said, I've been away a lot of weekends recently. But apart from one weekend in September, we're gonna be getting back to normal, so we should have content. You know, we shouldn't be skipping or missing any Army List shows again for a little while. Maybe not till next summer or something. Anyone know a good place to find some cool hammers for my death company? I don't know about cool hammers, but I do know that the Vanguard Veteran box has like, I think it's got 4 hammers in it. And Vanguard Veterans, obviously, like a lot of people built them with lightning claws, so that's how I got my hammers. Is I bought like a lot of, like, at the beginning of 9th or something. Vanguard Veterans with lightning claws were like all the rage. Everyone was using them. They're really, really good. They're really, really good for Blood Angels. Storm Shields, lightning claws. So I bought a bunch of Vanguard Veterans and made them with lightning claws, leaving me a ton of Thunder Hammers for Death Company. I think I want some Death Company with power swords though. Like, they're cheap. And I think they do like a good amount of damage, honestly. Etsy, says somebody. Yeah, it can always be worth. Cromlech was a site that I used before. Yeah, and it's a European site. Highland Phoenix says, I want to get Angel's Tears to try out Vanguard Veterans with dual plasmas, or Grav. Have you tried that dual Infernal Pistol Scout Sergeant? Yeah, Highland Phoenix, because that's what I want to know about. Because you always ask about him, or you always suggest him. Like, have you tried him yet? Version World, I've never heard of that as well. Is that an American site? Deathwatch Veterans box. Conversion World is a German site. Yeah, well, I think Cromlech was German as well. I guess the Germans really like doing their conversions. Fair enough. And you've used Conversion World before, have you? The product's good. What was shipping like to anyone that's used it? So I got my guys based. I'm just going to hit those bases with a coat of Agrax Earthshade, but I'll do that tomorrow once they're 100% dry. Not 100% sure they're fully dry right now. Texture paint can take like an hour to dry, I guess. Put it on at the beginning of the stream, which was maybe like 2 hours ago, but I'm gonna leave it for a little bit yet. I might try and stream midweek as well this week, just because we haven't. Yeah, we're like way behind on our streams, so hopefully if I get a chance, I'll stream midweek as well. I have to try and figure out what my army is going to be for this tournament. Sometimes when you spray gold over black for Sanguinary Guard, the gold doesn't get like a full coat, or it gets a very thin coat like this one seems like. I'll just go back and try and touch some of that stuff up, just make sure that there's no blotchy parts. Just what I've got at the moment. Conversion worlds don't automatically fit into 40k models' hands. You need either to clip or attach them, or also buy the hands. Yeah, I mean that's something that you used to always have to do, right? The hands used to always, like, when you used to buy 40k models, you had to do the hands yourself. So sounds like these conversion world pieces are high quality, but you've got to do the hands yourself. It's not the end of the world, I guess. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. I do really appreciate it. I'm going to be back tomorrow night for army lists, 9:30 UK time. I'll be live for about 2 hours again tomorrow night. I'll see if I can arrange a game for midweek. I know that a bunch of the people I play against are away at a tournament called Warhammer this weekend. So they might be not up for a game, but I'll see if I can get one arranged with somebody. Maybe Miles will come back on the channel. Even after he completely destroyed me last time, it'd probably be good to get him back. See if we can do a little bit better. Would you run a fun... I mean, I'm up for running anything, to be honest. Like, a fun match would be fine. I mean, we'd also run a fun match on the Grotz channel as well, I'm sure. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Let me, maybe towards, like, the end of the year, once, because, like I said, I got 2 tournaments coming up that I want to get a bit more practice on and figure out a list for. So maybe if I get those lists figured out, then we could look at running, few, like, show matches / fun matches. That'd be cool. Right, I'm gonna call it there. It's pretty much midnight, guys. It would be cool to rematch Elder. Yeah, I gotta see if I can do better against the Elder as well, don't I? 3 fight lasts though is so bloody mean. Like, again, this comes down to if Blood Angels go full melee. Sometimes I just find it's like you're going to come into those lists that have some sort of solid melee counter, and what are you supposed to do? I hate that. I hate losing to a counter that, like, well, it just, you know, it's just a counter to Blood Angels is going full melee. Right, that's going to do it, guys. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully catch some of you guys tomorrow night. Thank you to my new members. There's 2 new members tonight. Super appreciate it. Also, thank you for the super chats. And if you did enjoy tonight's stream, I'd love it if you'd hit that like button so maybe some other people can find it as well. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I'll be back throughout this week as well with some other content for sure. So, enjoy your evening. Peace.